Fact or fiction, GLP-1 medications like Ozempic or Mounjaro will work for everyone. So that is actually false. This gets into a concept that we refer to as obesity phenotype. And so that means depending on your underlying physiology, pathology, as long as a host of other things in your history are really going to determine how well you react to different medications. There are some genetic tests that actually can get into this and predict how well you will react. But what we know from the trials is that there is a huge amount of what we would call heterogeneity, or just an intensely varied response, even amongst the best medications like Wegovy or Zepbound, which are the weight loss forms of Ozempic and Mounjaro respectively. So you may find that really up to a quarter or a third of patients do not react at all or lose weight in those medications, and we know that. And to oversimplify, that is because these medications primarily work on making people less physically hungry. But physical hunger is not the only reason that we eat, and that is why any decent practitioner in this is going to ask you, should be as one of the first questions in a litany of things that may seem unrelated, but have a lot to do with your history, and really will show how likely you are to do well on these meds. And that's why we take that history on an appropriate obesity med initial consultation. And as I said, there are also well, there is one, I shouldn't say there are. There is also a genetic test that can be done to predict that, but generally we can get these things through history. And the other thing is that your primary presentation is not determinative. And so if we are currently having a big struggle with emotional eating or reward motivated eating, and that is why here we really try to address that first. It's not that a GLP medication couldn't ever work for you, it's that it's not going to work now while that is going on. And so we do take the time to try and dig into that, and then might circle back, in which case those medications can actually be super effective in the end. So no, they aren't the answer for everyone. They won't work for everyone. And sometimes if we treat some things that are opposing that, we can circle back, but all has to be done in the appropriate order. And that's what we do in obesity medicine.